Guys, let's talk about the South African election, okay? And they just recently concluded elections in South Africa. You see, there are countries in Africa where if they have a stable economy, stable government, and a stable environment, essentially, those countries are strategically placed or are strategically situated in different parts of Africa. You have South Africa, you have Kenya, you have Egypt, you have Nigeria, you have Ghana, and maybe either Morocco or Algeria. Okay? Now, when there's political turmoil in these places, other small African countries are kind of lost. They don't know what's happening. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand why big economies, big countries with large population tend to go into decline. Nigeria is an example. But today I want to talk about South Africa. In the recently concluded election, you guys have seen ANC, Nelson Mandela's party. A lot of you out there, you understand what this party stands for. Okay, it's a party for freedom fighters, party of the average South African who has been oppressed, been under apartheid for such a long time. You guys struggled and had your independence in 1994. Since then, you have been under ANC, that's how it's supposed to be. Or if not necessarily ANC, but the political parties that should rule that country from now on should be dominated by black parties, black parties. But it's so unfortunate that due to corruption, the bad governance, and essentially corruption, South Africa now, when Ramaphosa went and lost the election, instead of him to come to MK, which is the former Jacob Zuma's party, to form an alliance, Ramaphosa didn't do that. Instead of him to swallow his pride and go to Malema's party and form an alliance there, he does not. I know Malema doesn't even want to have that. But if you are in a dire situation like that, you guys should come together, especially Ramaphosa. Go on your knees, or if you want to suck Malema's balls to be on his good grace, good side, do that. But that did not happen. Instead, Ramaphosa now, Jesus Christ. Instead, Ramaphosa now had to go back and make alliance with with DA, and align with the DA party, which is majority white party, which has dominated your country, which is up till today controls your economy, whether you like it or not. You may be more in population, black people, but these people, minorities, still run your country, still run your economy. The diamond fields, the diamond mining is dominated by them. Retail is dominated by them, the whites and Indians. Gold is dominated by them. Media is owned by them. Since 1994, what have you South Africans done? Apart from Amapiano. You have allowed corruption. Instead of you to vote out Ramaphosa, you allow him now. So listen, that is it. The DA is not going anywhere. The DA is not going anywhere from now on. They're going to be in power from now on. In perpetuity, they're going to be in power. Why? Because this past 30 years they've been outside of power. They have learned. They've been outside. They have been plotting. They've found a way to get in now. You can't get rid of them. Why? You see, during Zuma, I know Mbeki, they didn't have much corruption. Mandela, there was no much corruption in his administration. Mbeki, there was little corruption. But Zuma now was open the floodgate of corruption. Now, when that came in, your power sector became moribund, became terrible. Your roads, okay, the economy now was not reaching all the way down to the guy in the street. Most of you South Africans are on benefit, are on welfare. Okay, you don't inspire the average South African person to set up business, to go abroad and learn something, a skill, and then come back. No, you are happy to leave your people. ANC, I'm talking to you. You're happy to let your people live in townships, with tin roof. In 2024, in a country as rich as South Africa, you let your citizens live on that tin roof. Oh, but no, hey, they have a piano, let them dance and forget about the problems. That's not the case. That's not the case. So now that DA is parcel of the government, right? They are going to go back all the way back to 30 years. They're now going to go through all the corrupt officials. They're going to start exposing them, because corruption is what has destroyed South Africa today. ANC has turned a blind eye because people that make up ANC today are corrupt people. So for that reason, I support the DA. For that only one reason. Let them go in and root out all the corrupt officials, corrupt politicians, corrupt people that were put in power, put in place by Ramaphosa and Jacob Zuma. Okay, I'm a Nigerian. South Africa is a great country. I love South Africa. Okay, as a kid in 1986, I remember while you guys were fighting for your freedom. I remember as a kid, they had something they call South African Liberation Movement. They came. We had it in Nigeria. We go after school. We have like a can. We have a can, and then we collect money to send to South Africa for their freedom. I knew that there was not much corruption there, but if it's now, I don't trust it. But then I knew that money was was a cause. Most of your freedom fighters had to, seek exile in other African countries. African countries provided them a place to hide, a place to stay, provided them a base. Okay, but today, most of you South Africans, due to xenophobia, you hate other Africans, other people that accommodated you, other people that send help, relief, materials to you guys under apartheid. You guys now hate them. You want them out of your country. Today, if most foreigners leave your country, how are you going to survive? I know most of you don't really work much. Very few people work. But I salute the current young South Africans because they are taking education serious. But those middle-aged people, they're not doing anything. They just sit down there and drink. You have allowed Zuma and Ramaphosa to destroy ANC. Now you went and form an alliance with a white party. They're going to be the next election. You know what will happen? What is it called? Malema. I think Malema is done. Malema is not going anywhere. He's done for now. Okay, he will never be president of South Africa. Let's put it that way. His freedom fighting party is not going anywhere. An MK party formed by Jacob Zuma will probably dissolve after a while. Okay, so it will now be left with the MK and ANC, because if MK does well, most black people that are tired of the corruption of ANC, most black people will now start voting for the DA. And ANC will now begin to decline. The greatest party of Mandela, the greatest party of Thabo Mbeki, the greatest party that represented that was the umbrella of freedom fighters in South Africa, has been destroyed by corrupt Ramaphosa and Jacob Zuma. South Africans, If you have to leave, I don't really support. But the thing is, I'm disappointed that you guys allow what is happening in Nigeria to happen to you. Corruption has destroyed your country. Load shedding, it was not even in the vocabulary of South Africa. It just started happening now. It shouldn't be so. So vote these people out. If you want to vote for the DA to fix your country, fix your economy, that's fine. But I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. Do what's good for your country. And I'll talk to you later.